Hi Fude lovers, I thought this would be an interesting video to make as both brands are expensive and I can review them all together without having to make separate videos. A few side notes before jumping into the review. Fude is an art and it takes people 10 years to be able to properly handle them. If they have over 10 years of experience, I expect Chikuhodo Z series craftsmanship in my scroll brushes. My reviews are generally quite critical because I'm picky and I think most people will be happy with brushes that don't live up to my standards. Now, as these brushes are all highly priced, I feel that my critical review is more justified than usual. Remember, everyone is different, so you won't know whether or not you like these until you've tried them out for yourself. These are soft enough for all skin types as they're made out of gray and blue squirrel hair. I'll start with the Strat brushes. They have a shifting, sparkling duochrome effect on the bottom of the handles. Depending on the lighting, it appears green like the Koyudo Fupa 14 handles or purple. So in this lighting, it's green, and in yellow lighting, it's purple. They are lightweight, which is disappointing to me. They remind me of the Chikuhodo Takumi series, and I think especially for brushes of this price, the handles should have more of a substantial weight to them, but that's just me. And I actually bought the Surratt brushes twice. The first time I bought them, the cheek was just okay to me, and the face brush I didn't even use. Like I just took it out of the package, I felt it, and I didn't really like it, so I swapped it away. So I'll start with the Strat powder brush on the left that I just held. It costs $230. It's egg and bullet shaped and around the same size as the Z1. So let me just, I keep grabbing MK2. Z1's on the right. Okay, so you can see that they're about the same. Ooh, the camera won't focus. And they both have this curved ferrule at the top, which I do like. The cheek brush, however, does not have that inward curve at the top of the ferrule. I wish they did that for all of their brushes. Anyways, the Surratt powder brush is densely packed, and the bundling is perfect, just like the Z1. The first one I had was the most inflexible gray scroll powder brush I've felt. The shapes are the same for the first and the second one that I have. The new one is less inflexible. It's got quite a bit of flexibility to it, but the bottom 20% right here is stiff and immovable, just like the Takeda Canadian scroll brushes. So just showing you. And it has the coarsest gray scroll hair in a powder brush that I've come across as well. It's still soft, it's just that the hairs are thicker, if that makes sense. It picks up way more product than the Z1 and Suqqu face due to the coarser hairs, and it applies setting and finishing powder nicely. I don't care for it for blush or bronzer though, because it applies with a diffused finish. So let me just show you the hair. And I still like the Z1 more and don't think that the Surratt powder brush is worth the $230 price tag. Ooh, there's hair. I feel like it costs, to me, it's worth around the same price as the Z1, which is about $155. So next we'll go to the Surratt cheek. Strat cheek costs $115 US. It's a round pom-pom shape similar to the RC2. Let me pull that out as soon as this focuses. Okay, RC2 is on the right. And the Strat cheek is the most flexible gray scroll cheek that I've come across. It's very flexible. If you push it against your face, the hairs will bend a lot. And RC2 is also very, very flexible, but I think it's denser than the Surratt cheek, and the Surratt cheek feels more airy. Also, the Surratt cheek on the left has not been in a brush guard, while the RC2 has been in a brush guard. That's why it looks like that, or it looks more compact. So the bundling is near perfect for the Surratt. Oh, my light keeps going in and out. It doesn't seem to work well with a medium to harder pressed powder formula since the hairs are so fine. But it does work really well with soft pressed blushes like Strat and Addiction by Ayako. Let me just pull those out. So here is the Addiction blush. That's Addiction in Emotional. I really like this one. And then here are my Strat blushes. Okay. So the Surratt does apply these blushes, or just a lot of blushes in general, better than a lot of other Go and Scroll brushes that I've tried. The Surratt applies them more pigmentedly, and it's also, you can build them up with the Surratt, which is something that I really like, besides being more pigmented. And it's also the most precise amongst the Gray Squirrel pom-pom cheek brushes I've used, only a little bit more precise than the RC2. Although it is the most precise, I don't think it warrants the $115 price tag, and would recommend the RC2 over the Surratt. Yeah. So I would only recommend the Strat cheek if you're in love with the handle's shifting duochrome effect and care about the minimal difference in precision between it and the RC2. All right, so we're moving on to the Strat brush, the Suqqu brushes now on the right. These are available at Harrods, and Harrods is based in the UK. They occasionally have 10% off for rewards members, so it's their loyalty program and it's free. You just sign up with your email and then you start getting emails, and sometimes they have 10% off. So shipping is £25, however. And the Suqqu brushes have black tapered lacquered handles, so it's very ergonomic. I really like it. And it does have a nice weight to them as well. It doesn't feel cheap, it doesn't look cheap. It also has that curved inward ferrule at the top. The logo right here, if you can see that, is tiny and nearly indistinguishable. The font is dark gray against a black background. So I wish the logo was more visible and a different shade. I did previously own the Suqqu cheek brush, but I sold it, and I bought a new one recently to see if I'd like it more if I used it differently. Okay, so here's the Suqqu face that I'm holding, and this lighting is driving me nuts. Okay, so it costs 170 pounds. Okay, I'm just gonna put it down. It costs 170 pounds, and that is approximately $228 US. It's got a tapered oval shape at the top. It's hard to see. And I snubbed this brush for the longest time. The reviews online all said it was airy, and I don't like airy brushes normally. It's not actually airy, it's got a medium density. Okay, I'm gonna put these away, or I'll put this away. Maybe it's because my blushes are out that the lighting is getting, I don't know. Okay, so showing you the hairs. So yeah, it's quite flexible as well, but I wouldn't consider this airy. I would consider the Kodo Gray Squirrel Medium Powder Brush very airy, the one with the red handle. This is very, very airy because the hairs are so fine. Okay, and the Suqqu face brush, the hairs do feel very unique. They feel different from any other Gray Squirrel brush that I've felt. The softness is, okay, so when I first got it, it did feel softer than the Surratt's. and the Chikuhodo Z series, it felt a little bit softer, but after I washed them, I would say they're around the same softness now as the Chikuhodo Z series. And it is less soft than the Koyudo Gray Scroll Kabuki and Gray Scroll Medium Powder Brush. So this is the one that I just showed you. This one is even softer than the Suqqu face. And maybe you would be able to tell the difference in hair quality if you see this. Maybe not. Just wanted to show you. Okay. So here's MK2. Let's see. Yep, okay. And here's, I guess, like one of the things that I don't really like about it is that it doesn't keep its shape well after washing. It did turn round and lost the taper after I washed it. I guess it's similar to the shape that you see right now. I had to use a brush guard to reshape it, and it ended up looking quite skinny. But then after I used it a few times, it did get back to this round shape. So I liked the shape the most when I first got it out of the package. It was like nicely tapered and more egg-shaped like the Surratt face. I do appreciate the taper for blush though. I used it with Addiction by Ayako's Emotional Blush on the left right here. It applies the blush very nicely. Like, I really, really like it for blush. It's pigmented and not diffused, which is the opposite of the Surratt face powder brush for blush. It's still targeted since it's tapered. So for setting and finishing powder, it applies like my other Gray Scroll powder brushes, which is a thin veil of powder. My only gripe, or I guess my second gripe for it being over $200 is that it's not bundled perfectly, which is disappointing. It's really hard to tell in this video, but you can kind of see it on the sides. It's like not bundled very perfectly and doesn't really keep its shape that well. So I do expect Z series perfection, considering that this brush costs a lot more than the Chikuhodo Z1. Z1 is like $155, and yeah, the Suqqu face is like $228. Funny thing is that it does feel like the Suqqu or the Shiseido powder brush. So, like I said in one of my videos before, I did read a blog, and the blogger was saying that the Suqqu and Shiseido face brushes did feel very similar in terms of softness and application, and I think it's true. Besides my one complaint, I really do like the Suqqu face and would recommend it to people. So last one is the Suqqu cheek on the right here. It's 86 pounds or approximately $116 US with the current exchange rate on Harrods. It's a dainty and airy cheek brush, and it doesn't contain much hair at all. Let's see if we can. Okay, I'm gonna move this now so you can see better. Don't know, go like this. Okay. Yeah. So it's wonderful for targeted blush or small faces. Mine is rounded at the top, while I've seen some others that are flat. So this is like rounded right here, but some other people, they have like a flat one. It really just depends on the bundling. The first time I owned this, I used it in my typical fashion of placing blush on one area of my cheek and buffing or swirling. So normally I'll just like take some from the blush like this. Let me show you. Just go like this, and then I'll pat it onto my face once, and I'll try to buff. And this brush does not blend like that for me. It doesn't blend at all if you do that. Recently I discovered that if I pat the color 3 times across my cheek in a dotting motion and then buff, it applies much better. So like I said in one of my other videos, you know, like I'll take the blush and then I'll pat 3 times across my cheek, just like with the Red Squirrel, the Koyudo Red Squirrel blush brush. Dot 3 times and then buff. That applies much better. So I do like it for patting and the patting and blending motion only. And it's just an okay brush to me. I don't think it's worth the price, as I prefer denser brushes. So I would actually take the Z4 and the Chikuhodo RC2. These are both from Chikuhodo. Like, I would take these over the Suqqu cheek any day, and they cost a lot less than the Suqqu cheek. So just wanted to show you. Can't do it. I can't hold it all 3 at once. So Z4 is on the right. Yeah, the Z4 is a lot denser than the Suqqu cheek, so I do like it a lot more. And the Suqqu cheek ferrule, if you can see, the ferrule is a lot skinnier and more narrow than the Z4. And then here's the RC2. I do really love the RC2 and the Z4. Okay. So in conclusion, you're essentially paying for the brand names and prestige for these brushes. These are not necessary pieces of any brush arsenal. They're nice to have if you're willing to splurge on them. I do prefer the Suqqu brushes over Surratt though. Hope this was helpful. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in another video. Bye!